12. The news at 5 starts right now.
Good evening. It is Election Day here in San Antonio, as well as surrounding cities and counties. Here in the Alamo City, the mayor and city council races will be determined, as well as a proposed city charter amendment.
Yeah, that heavily debated Prop A has drawn strong opinions on both sides tonight, and we'll learn what the majority of voters have to say about it. Here's a look at some of the contested races. Mayor Ron Nirenberg seeking his fourth two-year term. He's up against 8 challengers this election. All 10 council seats are also up for a vote. District 1 Councilman Mario Bravo facing 8 opponents. There are 10 candidates for District 2, where Councilman Jalen McKee Rodriguez is hoping to retain his seat for a second term.
And over in District 7, constituents there will be voting for new representation because back in January, Councilwoman Ana Sandoval resigned, leaving that seat vacant. Interim Representative Rosie Castro is not running in the re-election. Several other people are. And District 10, Councilman Clayton Perry decided not to rerun for re-election, and there are 7 people vying to fill his seat. You still have time to cast your vote. The polls close tonight at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, and KSAT is your home for all election coverage. We'll be monitoring all the election results as they come in, and beginning at 7 o'clock, our Steve Spreester will be hosting a live election night live stream. We'll have results, analysis, and reaction to those results. You can watch it on KSAT.com, KSAT Plus, and our KSAT YouTube channel.
Let's take a look now at other stories we've been following today. One person is dead following a head-on crash on the Loop 1604 access road at I-10 West early this morning. San Antonio police tell us a driver was headed east on 1604 when they collided with another vehicle. They say the front seat passenger in that vehicle was pronounced dead at the scene. Officers say the driver who caused the crash was evaluated for DWI and has been charged with intoxication manslaughter. SAPD says the victim who died was a 21-year-old woman. So far, her name has not been released.
Heavy smoke greeted San Antonio firefighters who were called out to a house fire on the west side today. Several fire units arrived at this home in the 1500 block of West Craig Place near North Navidad and North Calaveras. Crews said the fire started in a room and then it made its way up to the attic. They say the attic was packed with items, but they were able to put that fire out. Luckily, no one was home at the time, but that fire is still under investigation.
Another fire to tell you about. This one on the south side broke out around 3:45 this morning, forcing residents to flee to safety. It happened at a home in the 200 block of Shrine Avenue near Southwest Military Drive. San Antonio firefighters say they found the fire in one of the rooms. Crews were able to put the flames out quickly. Everyone inside was able to get out. One person, though, was checked for smoke inhalation, but were released at the scene. Firefighters say there were no other injuries. Right now, the cause of that fire is unknown.
Happening today, the community is showing a local businessman support after a fire destroyed his shoe repair business. Today, a steady stream of people made their way out to Slim's Sports Bar on VFW Boulevard for a barbecue benefit. Back on April 25th, the Highland Park boot and shoe repair burned to the ground. The owner says the 30-year-old business provided for their family and they were preparing to retire. Today, community members in the Hackberry and Highlands areas showed up to buy plates and encourage the owners, who say their support is touching.
Oh, it means a lot, because that just tells me that, gives me more motivation to get back to work and help them and other people that know. I saw the news last night, and we're gonna try it again.
The Rodriguez family grateful to everyone who stopped by and those who organized today's event. They say it's good to know they have true friends helping them through this setback.
Students interested in joining law enforcement were putting their skills to the test today. The second annual Bexar County Sheriff's Explorer competition was held over at Lanier High School. Students representing school districts from across San Antonio and as far away as Pearsall participating in different categories. Those students are part of the Explorers program, and their knowledge and skills in felony stops, domestic violence response, and physical agility were evaluated to see how far they've come. Officials say exposing students to what they want to do helps them down the road in their careers and in their studies.
They come hang out with the Explorer advisors and they learn what it is to be in law enforcement, what we do, how we do things, why we do things. They learn the laws, the rights, etc., so that they become better students.
The Bexar County Sheriff's Office Explorers program helps establish partnerships with school districts that provide a type of professional development experience for their students.
Now to news across America. Police in Mississippi are looking for the gunman who opened fire at a bar and restaurant in Ocean Springs Friday night. Ocean Springs is about 90 miles from New Orleans. A 19-year-old was killed and 6 others were wounded in this shooting. The gunfire erupted in a busy section of downtown where a lot of bars and restaurants were celebrating Cinco de Mayo. The attack in Ocean Springs is the 6th shooting in just 7 days in South Mississippi.
The National Park Service says one of its employees in Alaska died this week in an avalanche. Eric Walter was killed while backcountry skiing in Denali National Park and Reserve. According to a report, the park received information that a skier triggered an avalanche on a slope near Jenny Creek and Savage River. It was determined Walter was the lone skier killed in the first avalanche fatality in Alaska this season. It is a historic moment for the British monarchy with the coronation of King Charles III and Queen Consort Camilla.
Yeah, as ABC's Inez de la Cuetara reports, the event gave the world a look into an age-old ritual that's rarely seen.
It was history in the making. King Charles and Queen Camilla formally crowned in a ceremony combining pageant and ancient ritual. The royal couple first seen as they left Buckingham Palace in a procession, riding the Diamond Jubilee state coach. Inside the Abbey, over 2,000 guests, including First Lady Jill Biden, foreign dignitaries, and members of the royal family. Prince Louis and Princess Charlotte sharing this sweet moment. Princes Harry and Andrew were also there, while Prince George, second in line to the throne behind his father Prince William, helped carry his grandfather's robes as a page, walking the very steps he'll one day have to take. The king and queen then lifted onto their thrones, those age-old crown jewels on full display.
We just watched 2 hours of ancient ritual in Westminster Abbey. 80% of the country, it's the first time that we got to witness that.
The military then putting on its biggest ceremonial display since Queen Elizabeth II's coronation. Units from across the Commonwealth marching down the Mall. That procession capping off with a short flyover, scaled back due to bad weather.
Members of the armed forces and, of course, all of those different troops from across the Commonwealth flying their different flags. That was the Queen's dream.
The newly crowned monarchs then coming out on that famous balcony, waving to the jubilant crowd alongside other members of the royal family. Despite the typically British weather, thousands lining the streets of London, hoping for a front row seat to history.
Once in a life, you know, it's magical. It's such an incredible event. I mean, it's plenty of joy.
And tomorrow, a star-studded coronation concert will be held in Windsor, featuring the likes of Katy Perry and Lionel Richie. And across the country, members of the public will participate in the coronation big lunch and street parties. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, London.
Still ahead, a warning issued by health experts that the coronavirus is still a threat. Just how soon could we be dealing with another variant similar to Omicron? The answer next.
I want to get you to some late-breaking news this Saturday evening. That news coming out of the city of Allen, which is between McKinney and Plano on the northeast side of Dallas. According to CNN, there are reports of an active shooter at the Allen Premium Outlets. This is aerial video taken of the scene a short time ago. Details right now pretty limited on what we know.
Yeah, what we can see, though, is everyone who was in that mall and around it walking out in a stream with their hands up. Heavy police and law enforcement presence on the scene, very active. We are now monitoring this developing story and will update you as soon as we get more information. Anyways, this week, the White House announced the end of the public health emergency for COVID-19. But COVID-19 experts say they've warned federal leaders that we're not out of the woods yet. Back in March, the White House reached out to about a dozen experts who are closely following the evolution of the coronavirus. They were asked about the chances that the world will see another highly mutated variant akin to Omicron within the next 2 years. Their answer, between 5 and 30%. But one expert said his estimate is closer to 15 to 20.
Now, with that news comes a warning from the FDA if you still have a COVID-19 at-home test. The agency says some should be thrown out because of concerns of bacterial contamination in the liquid solution. Here's what you need to know. The warning involves certain lots of SD Biosensors pilot COVID-19 at-home tests which have been recalled. They were distributed by Roche Diagnostics. The FDA says roughly 500,000 were distributed to CVS and another 16,000 were distributed to Amazon. But the agency says that none of the testing kits were ever distributed through the federal government's testing program. If you have one of the recalled kits, you should throw the whole thing away in the trash. They say do not pour the liquid down the drain, just throw the whole thing out. You can find the entire list of the recalled lot numbers and more information on the FDA's website.
All right, switching gears now to a look outside with live cam here this Saturday. Still have the clouds in place for the most part here in San Antonio. We've only really managed a few peaks of sunshine, but other than that, it has been warm and incredibly muggy out there, and that humidity isn't going anywhere. In fact, because of that, we have also managed to find a few isolated passing showers and a few thunderstorms roam through portions of Bexar County this afternoon and surrounding areas. Still isolated storm chances continue over the next few days, along with that humidity and unseasonably warm temperatures. We'll get you a full look at the radar and also those conditions in the forecast after the break. Well, it hasn't been for everybody today, but for some of us, we have managed to find a few showers to a couple of passing rumbles of thunder float across portions of south central Texas, just because we have all of the moisture in place and still a few pockets of energy floating across the Lone Star State. As of this 5 p.m. hour, a little thunder shower moving really just to the eastern portions of Bexar County, now crossing over into western Guadalupe County in between Lavernia as well as Seguin. Also just to the east of that, another little thunderstorm that continues to work its way farther off to the east. All of this activity has been non-severe, but still a few lightning strikes as well as a quick splash of rain has been expected with this activity and seen. A few more showers working their way into the far western reaches of Atascosa County near the community of Charlotte, approaching Poteet, Pleasanton, Jourdanton, as well as the I-37 corridor. That is all moving farther up to the northeast as well. And then for our friends in far western Valverde County, a few thunderstorms have been noted across the mountains of Mexico. That's tracking northward. We'll see how well it can survive as it does move in from the south. You can see, though, well up to our north, a bit of a different story in terms of storm intensity. Severe thunderstorm warnings already taking shape near the I-20 corridor and even approaching the Red River as well. That's where a severe thunderstorm watch continues. We'll monitor for a stray strong storm here in our neck of the woods, but generally, if we do find a few more isolated showers to a stray rumble this evening, it should be just that on an isolated basis. We will continue to keep eyes on the radar, though. Other than that, it has been warm and it has been very humid out there for the start of the weekend's plans. Temperatures right now here in Bexar County in the 80s, 86 over at the airport, 85 in Bulverde, currently 90 in Hondo, but the yellow numbers feels like temperatures even warmer than that because dew points are on the elevated side. Stepping out for any Saturday evening plans, again, a couple isolated showers to a stray storm, not completely off the table. It will be very humid, temperatures falling through the 80s and eventually into the 70s. By wake up time Sunday morning, upper 60s, low 70s expected in and around the San Antonio area. I do think some patchy fog as well as some drizzle will be possible throughout the first half of the day. Then as we head into your afternoon, mostly cloudy skies, 85 degrees by 1 p.m. Still mostly cloudy for the most part into the later portions of the afternoon. Daytime highs topping off near 90 here in town. But again, feeling even warmer. Those heat indices likely climbing into the mid to upper 90s in spots. So definitely stay hydrated if you are planning on being out and about tomorrow. Isolated storm chances continue each and every day into next week, as well as the elevated humidity and unseasonably warm temperatures. So a lot to monitor. Definitely that summer-like feel has returned to San Antonio, guys.
If it's going to be nasty and humid, we might as well get some rain out of it.
There you go.
I guess. If you like living in a swamp. What it feels like. All right, Andrew, high school baseball playoffs in full swing. You're here to catch us up on the action.
That's right, and weather has played a factor. There were a couple game threes today that have been postponed and actually changed locations to make sure they could get the games in today. One of those that didn't have to worry about it, Johnson versus New Braunfels. Game 2, we've got highlights from that one. Plus, Stephon Gilmore talks about what he's bringing to the Cowboys defense this coming year. Next. spots in next week's area round are up for grabs this afternoon in high school baseball as we conclude by district action. In Class 6A, Johnson goes for a series sweep of New Braunfels at NEISD Sports Park. Unicorns get on the board first. Top of the second, 2 on. Ryder Rutledge smokes one down the third baseline. That's a fair ball. Josh Lyle rounds third and he will score. New Braunfels goes up 1-0 and they threaten again in the top of the third. Bases loaded here with nobody out, but Johnson pitcher Tyler Walton works his way around it, inducing a pop-up and striking out a pair of batters to escape the jam and keep it a 1-run game. He is fired up. Same score now. Bottom of the fifth. Runners on the corners. Kason Cunningham sends one up the middle. Looks like it could be a double play to end the inning, but Cunningham beats the throw to first. Jason Anderson scores, and we're all tied up. The inning continues. Mason Cron drives in the go-ahead run by drawing a bases-loaded walk to make it 2-1 Johnson. Line keeps moving. Next up, Diego Flores knocks a base hit into right. Barrett Johnson scores for a 3-1 lead. And finally, how about Ty Hawkins sending one into the gap in right center? That's going to plate a pair of runs. Johnson puts up a 5 spot in the bottom of the fifth, and the Jaguars are moving on with a hard-fought 5-1 victory and a series sweep.
I mean, we came in here, we knew they were a good team. I mean, we came out and we played our game, and we all believed in each other, and we got the job done.
We played really well. You know, we competed. We had to because we played a very fine club in New Braunfels, and we knew that they were coming in. They were going to be a good team. Played them last year, and, you know, Alford's always got them competing really well, and his kids do a great job. And we knew it was going to be tough, but this series made us better.
The Jaguars advance to play Austin Bowie in the area round next week. We've got a decisive Game 3 over at Northeast Stadium. San Marcos taking on Churchill. No score in this one until the top of the fourth. Rattlers have 2 on. Stephen Wilder shoots a base hit into the gap in right. Major Pelline gets the signal. He will score standing up, and San Marcos strikes first. It's 1-0. Churchill answers that back, though, in the bottom of the frame. Runners on the corners for Josh Bandy, and he puts a charge into deep left center. Outfielder's not going to get it. Aiden Gomez comes in to score, and we're all tied up as the Chargers now have runners on second and third with only 1 out. Next batter up, Grayson Lorton chops it right to the third baseman. Throw home is in time, and there's a collision at the plate. Neither side likes this, and there's some pushing and shoving afterwards. Playoff intensity in full effect. This one is currently in a lightning delay with the game tied at 1 in the bottom of the fifth, and the game is being moved over to the sports park. Had the final score in this one tonight. In college baseball, UTSA continues their homestand this evening at the Bird Bath against Rice. They did not get off to a great start today. Roadrunners currently trail 6-1 in the fourth inning after a lengthy lightning delay. We hope to have highlights from this game tonight on the Night Beat. The TLU softball team suffered a stunning setback yesterday, dropping their SCAC tournament opener against Trinity 1-0. Today they start to run it back through loser's side against Shriner, and this one was over from the get-go. Serena Gonzalez and Bailey Hudgens both drove in runs in the bottom of the first inning, capping a 3-run frame. The Bulldogs wrapped up 10 hits and held Shriner to just 2 all game. They win it 12-0, and they will look to stay alive this evening in another elimination game against Centenary. After last weekend's disappointing 1-1 draw against Las Vegas Lice FC at home, San Antonio FC now makes the trip to Sin City for a rematch, looking for a better result. This season, the Alamo City Club hasn't been quite as dominant as they were last year, but their defense has been just as strong. One of the reasons for that has been Lamar Batista's presence. After starting with the team on a 25-day contract, Batista has earned a place on the roster and was signed for the remainder of the year back in March. How does he feel about the way his season is progressing?
I feel like I'm more locked in the whole 90 minutes as to where other teams I've been on, locked in for a certain time period when I'm with the ball or without the ball. But here it's, if I don't have the ball, what am I doing next to prevent a counter? If I do have the ball, well, where am I moving the ball fast enough to get a set up and then to get back and prepare the counter? So, with the intensity that we play in, it's nice just to have everyone dialed in the full game. You have to be. There's no excuses. So it's been good.
SAFC gets their rematch tomorrow evening at 5 p.m.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
There's no question that the Cowboys' most consistent unit last year was their defense. Dallas held opponents to a hair over 20 points per game last season, which is tied for top 5 in the NFL. And with the addition of cornerback Stephon Gilmore to an already talented defensive backfield, the Cowboys think they've got something pretty special. What does Gilmore think he can bring to the unit?
I think I can bring, my mentality, just my competitiveness. I think we got a lot of great guys on the team, but, I played a lot of ball. Just trying to, teach as much as I can, teach those young guys as much as I can, and try to make plays myself. So I think I'm gonna give it all I can to help the team get to where they want to get in the future.
Gilmore has played 11 seasons in the NFL and is a Super Bowl champion. The Houston Texans got some help for their offensive line this offseason by acquiring guard Shaq Mason in a trade with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in exchange for a 6th-round pick. Mason's full name is Shaquille Olajuwon Mason, which is more than a little ironic now that he's actually playing in Houston. Does his middle name mean a little more now?
A little bit. I mean, I think as soon as I landed here, it was a Texans fan, and it was like, your middle name is Olajuwon, and now you're in Houston. And it never really dawned on me until somebody said it to me. But it's pretty cool.
I think he's going to have to learn the Dream Shake and use it on some guys on the field. We'll see what it looks like in the NFL.
It's a great middle name.
It is. All right, we'll be right back.
Just a reminder, the polls close tonight at 7 o'clock, and that is when Steve Spriester will be hosting a live election night live stream. We'll have results, analysis, and reaction to the results. You can watch it all on KSAT.com, KSAT Plus, or your KSAT YouTube channel. We'll have a complete election night wrap-up tonight for you on the Night Beat whenever we get on.
And of course, we'll continue to monitor these few isolated thunder showers that continue to now move mainly south and east of San Antonio. All of that generally moving farther up to the northeast, though. So yes, we'll keep tabs on the radar. Still hot and humid over the next several days with those isolated storm chances.
All right. Thank you so much, Mia.
It's all of our time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here for the Night Beat after NBA playoff action.